Hi everybody, and welcome back to Hex Token Live as we cover a PulseX Sacrifice. It's going to be pretty cool. We're going to check out all the details. I got some charts I've set up. I'm going to try and keep those as accurate as possible. But happy New Year to everybody around the world. Yeah, it's going to be really great. 2021 is gone, and 2022 is on the road. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And no poll for today, but great to see everybody in the chat there. And here we are. We're going to talk about Pulsechain, PulseX, Sacrifice, and of course Hex as well. We're going to get into that. So let's have a bit of fun with that for sure. And don't forget, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, like, share, hit the bell. And of course, Hex Token channel memberships are open. We've got Pulseskins, Hexskins, and Richard Hart Club. So get into that as well. I might see a few people in the house. Now, there's been quite a few YouTubers on, so lots of stuff there from Discourse Syndicate, Maddie Allen, Crypto Heartbeat. Who else has been on? Yeah, quite a few people have been on multiple platforms, so great to see everybody out there spreading the word. Lots of really good content. So big shout out to fellow YouTubers in the space. Man, it's just growing. A lot more content providers. That's a great sign, folks. And onwards and upwards. So let's go. All right, let me get into the chat here, of course. Once again, I want to say another one. Happy New Year, everybody. It's going to be a real blast. 2022 is our year for sure. If you thought the past years were good, then 2022 is going to be epic, and we're going to look forward to that. Let me get to the chat here, folks, and say hello. And of course, you can see the current sacrifice over 190 million US dollars just on the Ethereum alone. And of course, there's a couple of $1 million on Bitcoin and other stuff like that. So we're going to check out all that stuff. Very cool. And Hex is up over 130 million. Pretty nice. Let me get into the chat though. Say hello. For sure. So we've got Nao's in the house first. Happy New Year's. Hey, big shout out to you for that as well. Extremely desirable says Hex songs. Nice that. I like the old strong arm there too. Solix says Happy New Year. Happy New Hexican Year says Solix. Hey, Solix, always good. See you in the chat there. And Happy New Year from Agenda 69. Very cool. Hey, Crypto Heartbeats in the house. What's up? Happy New Year. Very cool. And definitely, I just finished watching your interview with Kinetics there, Crypto Heartbeat. So that was really nice. Really nice. And as a fellow Christian, I could appreciate some of the topics there as well. So big shout out to you, Crypto Heartbeat. Nao says, Happy New Year, legend. Hey, appreciate that. That's pretty good. Nice stuff there. That's from Nao to Crypto Heartbeat. Happy New Year to you. Very cool. Mike says, hello, Hex Token. Thanks for live streaming New Year's Eve. Hey, it was a pleasure, Mike, and I really did enjoy it too. And Switch to Crypto says, just sacrificed all my liquid. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Yeah, all right. That's how we roll. Nice there. This is the PulseX Sacrifice. This is the last big opportunity that I can see out of the roadmap. This is Richard Hart's building out the ecosystem. And of course, this looks like the big last one. There will be other developments in the future, but this looks like it, folks. So it's going to be pretty exciting. Crypto Happy says, "Let's go. I like it, and great atmosphere for the beginning of 2022. It's currently 18 past 4 o'clock on the 1st of January, Saturday here in good old New Zealand down under. And of course, yeah, it's a beautiful sunny day, super hot, and I'm going to get out after this live stream, go for a nice walk out there too. It's going to be pretty good. Francesco says, let's go, Pulse Gang. Absolutely. And man, so much discussion about people trying to work out, is Pulse more going to be better, PulseX, Hex, P-Hex, E-Hex. It's crazy. I love all that stuff. So get out there, and folks, and see that's really nice. The other side of course, is just not outside of those things, of course, is all the people in the community. We're getting to know a lot of people and personalities in the community so much better on a different stream. So big shout out to all that stuff going on. And man, that Miami 555 tour looks amazing. The yachts and the parties and the conferences. I've watched a lot of that stuff lately on the 555 tour. So big hats off to the, I never say it properly, but the I can't even say it, so I'm not even going to say it. I'm so bad with that. I've tried to memorize it. Every time I go to say it, I forget it. But the two, I think they're two German guys, and they do amazing stuff. I think it's a bit, yeah, I'm not even going to say it. I keep forgetting the names on those, just that channel. I don't know what it is. I watch it a lot too, so I don't know why that is. It's crazy. Funny stuff. And Michael O'Keefe says, good morning for Thailand. Hey, good to see you, Michael, in the house from Thailand. Beautiful Thailand in the house. Francisca Nava says, Happy New Year from Salem, Oregon, USA. Hey, great to see you there, Francesco, as well. I'm very familiar with Francesco. And Alex K's in the house. Wild price moves last night. Exciting. Happy New Year, everybody. Hey, Alex K, great to see our head moderator in the chat there. And man, was that price a big movement. Once we talked about it last night, right? We talked about that Hex OG. That was the one that once he broke that 30-cent mark, that 31 cents we're at, he broke that down. It now broke the market structure and allowed it to do that big spike we saw yesterday. We're going to check that out though as well. But boy, oh boy, it has actually rebounded pretty nicely, I think, and getting set hopefully for to go higher. But the only offsets of that, of course, is we've got the big stake that came out yesterday. 800 million of Hex was pretty much staked for yesterday. Came out. I've seen some of it come out through the whale bot. Some of the stakes mature in there, 30 days, 120 days type stuff on the whale bot, so that's not too bad. We haven't really seen a lot of that stuff sold as yet, so we'll watch that. And of course, we've got 1 day left with 500,000 Hex there sitting to come out to this day, the day that we're in at the moment, to come out tomorrow. And so we'll watch that as well. And then it's a lot easier road ahead from that right into 2022. And so, yeah, it's going to be a bit easier there as well, especially if we can get all that demand coming up. It's going to be good. Nice one, Alex. Anyway, Dream of State says Flat Earth with David Weiss says Dream State. Yeah, nice one. And Solix says, I just linked your video on Telegram. Hey, Solix, appreciate that. Big shout out to you. New Thing, Happy New Year, guys. Says New Thing. Great to see New Thing in there. And yeah, respond to your comment earlier. And we've got Misty Majors in the house. Happy New Year, fam. Absolutely. Great to see you, Misty. And Miles here says Happy New Year all. So very cool. And Marcos is in the house. Hey, Marcos, good to see you. Hey. And Solix says, with PLX, we are 100% sure that it's going up to the right because of the buyback burn. Yeah, and not just that, because yield farming's huge, right? We know the yield farming's one of the killer, super killer apps in crypto. So it is a big deal. And with the biggest airdrop in history, it really is a no-brainer from my point of view. New C says we are going to take over the world. That's the one, and I like that attitude because that's what Richard's looking to do. Marco says when Hex becomes viral, do you think that big stakes that are dumping will have less of an effect of the price of Hex? Absolutely. What happens is that the Hex starts to get distributed out to new holders, and the faster that virality happens, the quicker. And of course, also with institutional stuff. And of course, Kinetics was talking about that a bit today on Crypto Heartbeat show around the Hex Scale Trust. And of course, they're actually looking to duplicate that. He gave that first hint that I've seen on interviews about duplicating that potentially the Pulsechain. So that's pretty nice. Now, whether they do it the PulseX is another question. I think kind of put that in a different category of investments, but we'll see what these guys do. They are doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes there. Very nice. Bearded Saint says thumbs up there, and Misty's in the house. Press that like button. Yeah, smash the subscribe button, like button, hit the bell, of course. We're gonna have a lot of fun doing this update video for PulseX, and I love doing these because it really is a lot of excitement. Our first 11, 12 days is very important, and then of course we've got a 5% increase from day 10 onwards of January, 10th of January onwards, right through to the 25th of February. So we're looking for that. Press that like button. Happy New Year, guys. It's pound for pound. Hey, nice one there, pound for pound. And Judah Wilson says, hi from Las Vegas, Nevada. Hey, I've never been to Las Vegas. Definitely want to go there, obviously. It sounds like a fun place. Hope all is with you. Question, how many peers are chosen on the DAO to receive the token? We don't know yet. That's all open. We don't know. We know that potentially there could be something upwards of 6,000 peers potentially. I mean, it really could be quite large from that point of view. But how many get the DAO token? I don't know. Maybe 50, 100. Who knows? We're going to find out when we get closer to the time. Judah. Awesome says DZiz. Hey, great to see you in the house. And Debro says, Happy New Year, Mr. Hex Token. Please, maybe I'm not the only one, but I have to ask, why do you hurt us with that microphone? Yeah, I'm going to look to get an upgrade microphone, but this is a pretty good PC microphone. Unfortunately, sometimes it doesn't feed through properly, is what I find. So I will try and get an upgraded mic. I've got a brand new computer, so that's going to help too. So I'm getting there, folks, getting there on that DZs, but sometimes the audio comes through very nicely. Sometimes it is a little bit screechy or something like that. I've had a few people comment. Other people say it's okay. You know how it rolls. It's just the way. But I'm going to try and get a really nice vlogging mic or whatever you call it. D-Bro says, Happy New Year. I think I've read that one. Sorry. And NFT IQ says, great to be here again. Hey, NFT, great to see you in the house. And Francisca says, I'm not selling a penny of Hex, Pulse, or PulseX for at least 5 years. If that diamond hands, that is a pretty good, Francisco. Like I said, I like to diversify strategy of having a bit of each of them as well. And yeah, just let it ride. Just hold on to it. And like Hex, you play that long game. I think there is a short game for the PulseX to play, and that is tempting, I must say. But we'll see how we go. D-Bro says, all the best. I'm your fan. Hey, nice one, D-Bro. Appreciate that. Big shout out back to you as well. And Gal says, Happy New Year's, homie. Hey, I like that. And very cool. NFT says, guess who staked all of their X today? Maybe it was you, NFT, but that's pretty cool. Hey, stake it to make it. That's what I say. You're going to get those big rewards. So anyway, let's refresh the Pulse, PulseX.com. We're going to refresh this sacrifice. We're going to also look at the day results. I'm trying to keep a track of those, and I think that's pretty good idea to keep track of those. We're currently at almost at 191 million US dollar sacrifice. This is mind-blowing. This is a terrific result, and I'm going to try and help to show that up. We've got Hex 131.5 million Hex sacrifice US dollars, Ethereum 31 million, USDC almost 18 million, Tether at 5.2, Wrapped Bitcoin at 2 million. So just terrific results, really is great. And then that's our top 5. We've got DAI, Shiba Inu, Crow, Chainlink, and Uniswap following in after that. And we've got lots of other tokens there, all the way down to Bancor. You got small amounts there, but man, the leaders are really killing it. So very, very cool. We've got 8 days and 20 hours to go until the 5% rise. And once again, it starts penalizing. This is quite different to the Pulsechain one where we had 5 days. We've got like 11 days, around approximately 11 days around that. So pretty amazing. I think it's going to give a chance for Hex price to go up again. That's the kind of way I'm feeling, as opposed to what happened in the Pulsechain one. We'll see whether I'm right on that or not. Just have a sense that may be the case, especially with the stakes coming out tomorrow. It's going to be pretty fascinating to watch that fundamentals play out. At the moment, we do have a lot of circulating supply, and of course, we've seen that a little bit in play so far, but not too bad in some ways. It just takes a big Hex OG like we saw yesterday to change the structure in the chart. That's what pretty much happened. So basically, better to get in earlier, but you do have a longer time frame to do that this time. And of course, we may get a second rise in the Hex price, whereas when you had a 5-day one, it was very easy to push that price down. So we'll see how that goes. Then from the 10th, always all the way up to the 25th, you've got you get the 5% penalty rise, but also on top of that, on the base amount there, 10,000 points for $1 in the first 11 days. You also got the volume multiplier bonus, so how big your US dollar sacrifice was, and that ends on the 20th. And then the last 5 days, you've got a 1.75 flat rate. So just take that into account. So basically, just get in early, sometime in before the end of the 9th on UTC time. So it's the way to go. All right, so let's quickly look over at PulseX.info. If you haven't, this is the DApp. This is where you helps you to step you through how to sacrifice. So all these links are in the video description, folks. Hopefully, I've laid it out quite nicely there, and you can go and check this out. So we're first on PulseX.com. This is the information site, gives you the overall sacrifice amounts. And then, of course, PulseX.info is where you go to sacrifice. So you can go do that. For the most part, you do not sacrifice from an exchange, but unless it's a UXTO token, you can do that on a couple of the tokens. You must read the instructions very clearly as well. Because otherwise, if you don't, then you can, pretty much lose your crypto. So be very careful. Just read through the instructions, and you'll be perfectly fine. And you can paste your address in here to get an address for Bitcoin or something like that. Very, very cool. If you're sacrificing to the main ETH address, you must send it from your wallet. You can't send it from an exchange. Just take that into account, and that's where the majority of stuff's coming from for the sacrifice. So very, very cool. And this ETH address, you can use Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, Polygon, Matic, Avalanche, Network Classic, and Ethereum. Those networks all can use the same address to sacrifice. It's pretty cool. And you must send it from your own wallet, the one that you control the keys for. Just take that into account. You can't send it from an exchange to this address. Very, very important. All right, with the exceptions, you have to go through and find out by just pasting in here if you want to do Bitcoin and stuff like that. So just take that into account. All right, so cool. That is how that works. And then, of course, we've got PulseXleads.com, which is a fantastic site. This is really cool. We had this for the Pulsechain one. The Pulsechain one is back here. This was the Pulsechain one here. And, of course, it was fantastic for that. And, of course, now we've got the same thing for PulseX Sacrifice, which is wonderful. And you can see, I'm just going to refresh the numbers, but they pretty much match up with pulse.com. So what are we at? 190.9 million. Fantastic results, man. We're only in day 3, and we only just started it. Really, it's really amazing. Let me have a look here. We've got the top accounts, top 100 here. We've still got only one whale so far, over 10 million. But it's pretty big, 15.7 million. Very cool, and looking good. So if we look at the view, doesn't seem to like that. Okay, not liking that for some reason. Anyway, they're number 1, and of course we've got number 2. We've got quite a few. Yesterday we had 18 millionaires, and so far we've got 22 that have sacrificed on here. And this is just for Ethereum, ERC20 type stuff. So just take that into account. So we've added another 4 millionaires in the play. So very cool. Only just started day 3, a couple of hours in. We're looking pretty good, maybe 5 hours in on day 3. So very cool results. Now, if you want to get into the top 100, you need to sacrifice pretty much $227,000 to get in the top 100. If you want to get in the top 500, you need to sacrifice about probably about 50,000 to get here on the top 100, top 500. Sorry, I should say. If you want to be in the top 1,000, you've got to sacrifice over 25,000 basically to get into the top of 1,000. So that gives you an idea of how big people are sacrificing. Top 5,000, let's have a look at that. Let's go, and that's $3,600 to get in the top 5,000 on the ETH chain. And of course, we're going to do all. Let's check out all, and hopefully it's going to update. Let's have a look. Yeah, cool. And all. So yesterday we had about 14,300 addresses. The last time we did a live stream. Let's have a look here. Hope it's not going to kill my computer. Just got to make sure it's okay. That's why I got a new computer, just so I can handle stuff like this. Wait for that. Let's get into the comments there. Very nice. We've got Misty's in the house, 5555. Yeah, definitely 5555 stakes. Christian says, love your show, Hex Token. Kristen Kelly is Scottsdale. Hey, nice one, Kristen. Very cool. And SF says, you're looking good, Captain. Well, Captain's on another show, but feeling good. So my moniker online is Superman. So that's how we roll. So look, see whether this has come up. No, it's still not updated there. So trying to get that update. Yesterday I had no problem. Just having a little problem updating that now. So we might just refresh this. And so we're almost at 191 million. So it's looking pretty good, folks. Let me just update that now live. Cheers, everybody. Got some nice cold water. It is a pretty hot day here in New Zealand. Looks like I'm having a bit of trouble now with that. Once I've tried to go to all data, we're sitting at about 14,300 accounts sacrificed. So I'm sure we've increased from there. That's definitely having some trouble there. I might come back to that one. Yeah, exit page. Yeah, we're going to exit the page. Reload. Let's see if we can reload it. Yeah, that's better. Looking better. Let's go for the, see if we can get all. I'm just trying to see what the total number of sacrifices are. See if we can get that data up. In the meantime, SF says, Marco says, how long will it take for all the sacrificed hex to be reflected in the hex price? It's going to take some time, but it's definitely a huge thing. Takes supply off, basically. It just makes getting that price higher faster over time, faster than it would otherwise be. So we're going to go all the way down to the bottom. We've got 18,555 addresses, so we're added about 4,200 since yesterday and sacrifices. But a lot of these bonds at the bottom are very small. We've got a couple of zeros. That's probably in the sense there. But you've got all these sacrifices on here. Some people will be trying to get Genesis wallets, as I say, but that's probably it. So we're going to jump back to the top 100 because my computer doesn't like so much data coming up on the reference page. My new computer will be fine. I've got a new iMac, so with an M chip, so it should be pretty good once I set that up. All right, so looking good, folks. Looking really good. And let's have a look. These are top accounts. We're going to jump all the way up to there. So yeah, that's the top one, 15.7. Let's see if we can get a couple more over 10 million. Remember, for Pulsechain Sacrifice, we had 5 over 10 million there. But Pulsechain's different. You know, it's kind of like the Ethereum chain, whereas PulseX is like Uniswap, but on steroids. So just take that into account. Very cool. All right, let's get into the charts. So I've made these new charts. Yay! So I think these are quite useful. Just shows you the trajectory, give or take, you know, the prices and that. This is an approximation, and of course, at the purple one there is the PulseX Sacrifice. So the sort of a pinkish purple is the PulseX Sacrifice, and the Pulsechain is the deep purple there. That's the sacrifice, and you can see how that went over the first 16 days. Remember, they had the first 16 days, so we're just doing a comparison of that. And at the moment, we're tracking pretty well with the Pulsechain Sacrifice. We actually bet on day 2, slightly below on day 1, but ahead of day 2. And you can see the data here is sitting here. So this is our sacrifices so far when at the end of the day. So this is not our current one, of course, end of day 2. And of course, we had Pulsechain Sacrifice was 127 and 168. So we actually ended up, we were 15 million behind the first day, but we're gained on 30 million on the second day, close to 31 million. So it's looking pretty good, folks. Really is quite a cool thing. So this is our tracking the total amounts, and here is tracking the daily amounts. So we definitely did better on the PulseX on day 2. But we've got this mountain of Pulsechain on day 5. So I don't think we're going to beat that, but I think on average we'll probably do pretty well. Probably beat a lot of these values is my guess. All the way to day 9. Well, we've got a few days, maybe day 10 or 11. We should be able to beat that out. So hopefully the charts gives us a bit of a sense of how we're doing relative to Pulsechain. Some people ask that, some people don't care, but that's how we're doing so far. So it's pretty nice. SF says all the sacrifice hex gets instantly swapped for a stable coin. No, most of the Ethereum is getting swapped to DAI. They've been doing quite a bit of that, but the hex just stays as hex. It doesn't do nothing happens to it, and it just stays in the sacrifice wallet. And then the sacrifice wallet also gets the hex that will be on Pulsechain that was sacrificed. So you are forgoing your P hex or your hex on Pulsechain when you sacrifice hex on the ETH chain, but you are helping everybody generally by getting the hex off the market, and that's kind of the win-win there is the way we look at it. And you're playing for the PulseX upside there. So Peter Saint said no. Yeah, that's right. That would be a sell. The OA doesn't sell hex. That's right. So the OA is kind of like a financial operator, helps regulate the system. That's why it typically goes in and picks up a lot of the total supply. And it's one of its key things is to try and help with the regulating the returns, regulating the circulating supply, those sort of things. Does a little bit around that. And these sacrifices are pretty awesome. 1st in July through to the 3rd of August, 15th July, 3rd of August for Pulsechain, and now for PulseX has been pretty epic. It helps us, you know, we had all those stakes coming out in Hex, and it's helped to actually eat up quite a bit of that, reducing any sell pressure, helping the price over time go up, make it much easier to go up. And of course, we've talked about the fact there's all this new demand agents, let's call it, are coming into the market. One of them is the Hex Scale Kinetics project. It's all only ever going to just buy. And of course, that's going to ramp up over time. So it's really as supply's going down, demand's going up, and of course, retail virality as well, institutions, IRA, all that sort of stuff, opening up all those things, billionaires, hundreds, you know, people with millions. That's how you get up to the Bitcoin type of appreciation, or the economic energy coming in. And the fastest way you can do that is by reducing the amount of supply. Don't forget me wrong, there's still Hex OGs out there doing short-term stuff. There's a lot of good Hex OGs, if we want to call it. It's a kind of a value judgment, but there's a lot of Hex OGs that are staked out just as designed, but there are quite a few short ones. Some of them may not be original Hex OGs, that might have come along maybe before big payday, maybe since big payday, and they're sitting on quite a big bag of Hex. But just take that into account. we saw that yesterday. A Hex stake came out with 100 million, and they ended up changing that price structure, and I talked about it yesterday, so I'm not going to go through all that. If you want to check that out, it was in yesterday's video. Misty says, let's jump back to the Pulsechain here, and we're going to refresh this, see if we've got over 191 now. Yes, we did it. Woohoo! 191 million, folks. We're heading towards 200 mil, and that's going to be a major milestone. So looking forward to that. And Misty says, guess who sacrificed all their liquid? Must be you, Misty. So there's a couple of people on the chat that have been sacrificing today. So, wow, congratulations to you. All the very best, of course. And Gamesy says, and that message isn't an error. It just means the address hasn't been detected in the Pulsechain sacrifice set. And it's the code, Misty, and theoretically it gets held forever, removed from the market. Very good thing, surprised. That's right. Hey, you look great, man. Hey, appreciate that, SF. A big shout out to you too. And Jimbo says, Happy New Year from across the trench. Hey, nice one there. Aussie. Happy New Year. Very, very cool. And Refined says, what's the consensus, PLS or PLX, which is better? Well, I've been commenting. It's just my opinion. I've heard other people say it, that PLX possibly in the short term, and then Pulse in the medium long term. So people might try and do a switch in there. People have asked whether there'll be a trading pair up and running, or someone has to set that up. A PLXX and a PLS has to put that into a pool, and then of course that will set up a ratio, but perhaps before the bridge starts trading, and then of course people will have to swap that over. Some people may be able to index it to US dollars to see what sort of deal you're getting, but then once the bridge comes in, you're going to have game on then. By then you're going to have stable coins and all the rest of it as well. So it's going to be interesting to see people set that up as well. People have to actually put the stuff in the pool. So we'll see how that goes. Craig Wayne sends, woohoo, new chart, yay, happy new year, everybody. Hey, Craig, big shout out to you, special thanks, and congratulate Craig for being one of the new moderators yesterday. I did a moderator day yesterday, and Craig was into that, so a big shout out to Craig. And Solix says, lol, Uniswap on steroids, good one. Yeah, it is, Uniswap on steroids, and that's the way it is. Let me just make sure I'm in the freaking. DX says, glad I sacrificed day one. Any info about the massive stakes that ended? Yeah, DXN, you did pretty good on day one at this stage, so very, very cool. Any info about massive stakes that ended? No, nothing yet. I looked at the whale bot just before going live. There was nothing in that. I just had to shut it down because I had enough. This is my old iMac I'm using. It's getting a little tired, so until I've got my new one, but I've got to set it up with everything to make sure it runs all hummy-dory. But yeah, we were looking at that, all those stakes coming out that came out today and tomorrow. I'll have a good look through that over the next 24 hours, as well as everyone else is free to do that too. So go for gold. DX. So what else we got going on here? So Sergio says, is Pulsechain network better than ETH 2.0 or just present ETH network? Well, I think it's going to be a lot better, Sergio. It's going to be faster and cheaper, and I think that ETH 2.0 may not deliver what it's promising with the sharding. We'll see. Vitalik was talking about potentially with sharding doing up to 100,000 transactions per second. Of course, at the moment it does, I don't know, was it 8 or 9 with a theoretical maximum or something like 25. But we'll see what happens with that. I think people are getting a bit more doubtful. Also, the delivery date as well. So we'll wait out. We've got to keep fairly objective about that. So we'll wait and see. But it is, a lot of people are getting a lot more pessimistic about the outcomes that will be in ETH 2.0. Obviously, they started in staking in December, and then of course they've got to do all the sharding stuff, and then get that docked, ETH 0.1 docked with ETH 0.20. Is it going to happen middle of next year or something? We don't know. We'll wait and find out. Hopefully it will help with the ETH fees. Maybe, I don't know, 20%, 50%, who knows. If they can get those TPS up, that could help quite dramatically, to be honest. If they can get the TPS up, that's a total transfer per second. That would help a lot. So it would get rid of a lot of the demand that's just soaked through the system through Uniswap v2 and 3 and through OpenSea through the NFTs. That would help to just remove all the capacity constraints, which is what we've really seen. I would like to see them also reduce the S-load function price as well if they're going to achieve the ETH 2.0. So that would be really cool if they did that, right? Because that would mean unstaking on ETH would be way better. So we'll just see how that plays. But at the moment, Pulsechain is looking, like super duper awesome, the speed and stuff like that. So it should be pretty good. That's just my opinions, of course. Jimbo says better. Yep, and Dex since ETH better than ETH 2.0, they should just fork ETH, and then we get a third copy of our Hex stakes. Yeah, so obviously there's still a hybrid, right, with the proof of work and that, whereas Pulsechain is going to be proof of stake with the validators, and that validator code's being tested now on Pulsechain testnet 2.0. And of course, they've done some code improvements to that because it's nothing like having what they've got over 20 validators on at the moment. We know we're going to have about 33 running the Pulsechain mainnet when it goes live, and we'll be able to stake our Pulse with that. And if you believe in Pulsechain, of course, you stake, you get more Pulse. And then, of course, if the price goes up, you get your volume times price, and you get those big X's that you're chasing down too. Nice. Gamesy says, by the way, PulseX Leads has a new chart as well. Yeah, that's right. So I was going to go back to that. I'm pretty sure I saw that on statistics. So this is the new chart here on statistics. Thanks for reminding me there, Gamesy. But shows you that Hex is the biggest one, right? The biggest sacrificer. Very, very cool. Ether's here, USDC, USDT, Wrap Bitcoin Dice. If you're wondering what the leaders are, obviously you can look on the leaderboard by just clicking this one here, and you can see all the leaders there. But also you can check on the statistics here with this cool little graphic. It really is cool. So hats off. If you want to donate to the team, there's got a donate button up there. You can just give a little bit if you got a little bit. If you want to give a bit more, you can do that. It's all up to you, really. But it is really nice to have this this available. So big shout out to the devs for that. Copyright created by Game Systems. So Game Systems in the house, by the way. So I forgot that Game System is the one that does it. So big shout out to you, Game System. Hats off, big clap for you. Happy New Year, and we do appreciate all that you do in there as well. So nice. There we are. Created by Games. We've got the developer in the chat. Woo-hoo-hoo. Nice. That's really cool. So big shout out. All right. So Robert Oxman says, "Happy New Year, Lulu. Good luck at the sacrifice." And Jimbo says, "Will Pulse be staked similar to Hex or just with validators?" No, just with validators, but there may end up being potential that the DAO could, the PulseX DAO could set Pulse up with a reward system with PulseX. Who knows? Could do it just a bit like that could be something that's in there, and that'd be end up competing in some ways with the validators. So it'd be interesting to see those combinations play out. Could be some, pretty cool stuff potentially. I mean, it's potentially could have happen. But happy New Year, bro Apocalypse. Thanks for your efforts. I appreciate you more than you know. Hey, David, do appreciate that. It's very kind words. And Murky says, Hex Token, Happy New Year, my friend. Hey, Murky, Happy New Year to you. Big shout out. And David Rarig says, hope this next year has many more woohoos for us all. Yeah, it's hard not to say woohoo all the time when you're in the Richard Hart empire building. It really is quite hard to do that. Brennan Leclerc says, stressing about what to do and when to do it. Remember, these are good problems. All paths will lead to success. Yeah, I think like either way, if you're in early, and of course, if you're in across all the four big ones, I guess we're only at 3 at the moment, but Hex, there's going to be 5 tokens, right? 5. So if you've got some Hex, you're going to get P Hex or Hex on Pulse. If you've already sacrificed for Pulsechain, you've got some Pulse coming to you. And then of course, if you're going to do PulseX, you're going to have some PulseX come to you. And then of course, if you're interested with your airdrops and bridging ERC20s over and all that good stuff, or any of the existing tokens, you can end up getting into PulseX, getting PulseX tokens, earning PulseX tokens, and potentially, the incentive token, which is the number 5. Yeah, so that's you got 5 tokens are going to be in this empire. It's going to be pretty nice. Brownie says, woohoo, live stream. Yes, at the beach again. How long how long we've been going for? So I think we've been going for 33 minutes. There, Brownie, great to see you as well. You're sitting back on the beach, are you, drinking a Shirley Temple, drinking a Shirley Temple on the beach. That would be pretty cool. Nice one there, Brownie. And Gainsey says, thanks for the shout out. Happy New Year to you as well. A big shout out to you, Gainsey. Do really appreciate all your work. And yeah, it's great to be able to cover this. I don't know if you recall, Gainsey, but I did cover this as well, pretty much daily as well when we were back at the Pulsechain. It was super exciting, to be honest. Todd, I was doing it on another channel though, of course. Todd Sanders says Ocean Sunrise Studio. They got the party going on there. Very cool, Todd. And Sergio says, what a shame no one did not pay a guy doing 2 times job as PulseX board. Yeah, so you can definitely donate to Pulse Lead over here. And of course, more statistics are coming. So GameSys will definitely love the more statistics, the better. We love it. We love it. Love data. It really is cool. And one thing, I don't know whether it's still possible. I've sort of set up my own chart there, Pulse Systems on here. Where do I go back here? I've set up my own charts, but feel free to set that up on your chart, just like you had it for Pulse Lead. You had that down the bottom here. I'm not sure whether you can still do it with the timestamps, but it'd be pretty cool to get this type of chart up as running. At the moment, I'm doing that. I'm doing that manually, obviously, at the moment, but that'd be pretty cool. It's just food for thought there. While you're in the chat, might as well ask, right? Can't be beggars can't be choosers or something like that. So nice. Brownie says, loving your constant YouTube postings. You are the man. Hey, Brownie, do appreciate that. And yeah, I've got to get out to the beach myself, to be honest. It should be good. I'm going to definitely go for a walk after this live stream. Craig Waiting says, maybe Dow coin will be called the Woohoo coin. I do like that. That's a cool incentive, the Woohoo coin. That's kind of cool. And Heart's Law says, happy year, my Hex fam. Hey, happy year to you as well. 2022, I think it's going to be pretty cool. And we're going to sacrifice for freedom, and that's what we want. We've got to reclaim that freedom. So wherever you are around the world, fight for that freedom. We don't want to lose it. It was hard fought for, and of course, this is symbolic of that. The PulseX Sacrifice, symbolic of that. We must do whatever you can to protect that freedom. Craig Waiting says, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe to the hardest working Hex token. I appreciate that. Yeah, definitely smash that subscribe, like button, hit the bell, of course. Now, if you're watching this video after the live stream, put in any comments. I do respond to those. And yeah, get in there, folks. Really cool. Jimbo6 says, no good down the beach in southeast Queensland, says Jimbo. Southeast Queensland. Oh, really? It's a bit rough there at the moment. Is that what you, or was there, maybe they got jellyfish, too many jellyfish. Oh, it's the wrong, yeah, it's the right time of season, jellyfish. Do you think it's a good idea to go big on PLXS? Well, I can't really make investment, decisions for, or advice, really. Most of the stuff on here is infotainment. But I think, like I said, I think I've said a couple of times, I think PulseX will do pretty well in the short term relative to Pulse. But once again, it's just my opinion. And of course, the basis of that is the fact that everyone's going to jump in on it. Yield farming very quickly. It moves faster. Okay, so it moves faster. People will jump onto that pretty fast. We've got the AIM bot harvesting all the PRC tokens and setting that up before we even, pretty much get access to it to set that ratio. And so it's already got value, instantly got value from the AIM bot. And then, of course, once the public starts activating on it, it's gonna, it's got a life of its own, right? There's nothing that the current holders and and Uniswap, SushiSwap, and stuff like that can do about that. So it's going to create that instant value. So it's pretty good. Excuse me. So yeah, so I think it's pretty cool. So yeah, I think that's a reasonable play. But once again, I think there's a lot of the billionaires, a lot of the big people are going to look at Pulsechain as value. So you can see money going into there from that. So I kind of see crypto as kind of that part of crypto that's really into the yield farming and chasing that down. And of course, it's going to be bigger than anything else we've seen before by a long shot. Whereas I see Pulsechain really around the big whales are trying to get into Pulsechain. They want to get that just like Ethereum because they see the Ethereum relatable to that. So I think that's where a lot of money is coming in. That's why the medium long term. So that's just some of my thoughts on that. We could probably talk about quite a few other features as well, but definitely is what I think there. Gamesy says, yes, indeed. I was following along most of the media regarding Pulse Lead. Yeah, cool, Gamesy. And that the chart is in progress. Nice, Gamesy. Nice one. Big shout out Gamesy again. And yeah, definitely get into if you want to donate to Gamesy, help Gamesy's all its efforts. It really is great for the community. And of course, there's tens of thousands, it's going to be over hundreds of thousands of millions potentially of users on Pulsechain. I think it's going to be mind blowing how many users. I mean, Uniswap's got something like 10 million active users now. I think that's on a day. I think that's on a daily basis. Can't remember now, but it's definitely over 10 million for either daily or monthly. So I know it's a big difference, but I think it was. I think it's daily. I have to double check that. But once again, you imagine Pulsechain with hundreds of thousands, millions of users on it, and it's a no-brainer, right? So you're in here early. Really is pretty cool. I was in Telegram. Is something like 60,000 something people, bigger than Cardano, ADA, Telegram. So you can sort of see the explosive potential in front of us with Pulsechain and of course PulseX as well. So pretty cool. And of course, that's all going to flow back into Hex. But Hex has also got its own demand coming in through like Hex Scale and other venues like what Funding Jim's doing with his billionaire liaison and stuff like that. So there's lots of things happening. So many things trying to keep track of that, of course. Very, very cool. Craig, Gamesy says, would you like me to add a reverse list button so you don't have to load all transactions? Yeah, if you can do that, that'd be quite good, Gamesy. That'd be really cool. Yeah, I am gonna get this migrated to my new computer, but I just have got to set up all the apps, the dApps and all that, because I want to set up my new computer clean. So I just don't want to do a copy over from my iMac. So I want to just have it nice and clean, just with a few apps on it, so that it runs really smooth well into the future. Craig one says Pulse Lead would remember your address. PulseX Leads doesn't. Is that on my end, Gamesy? And so it's a question there for Gamesy there. Javier says, how do we see the whale stakes ending dates again? So you can go to hex.vision. And of course, you can also, the Whales bot also gives you that alert. Just check out my daily videos. All my daily videos have all the links under there. You can see the Whale bot on Twitter, and also you can see Hex.vision website. So just check one of the daily videos. I did one only a couple of hours ago for day 760 on Hex. Just check that out. You'll see all the links for that. So cool. Thanks, Javier. Sergio says, can you let listeners they can claim $300 free DAT radar tokens and sacrifice? Yeah, so if that's the case, do check that. That's from Serge. So if you want to check that out, always be careful interacting with your address, of course, your wallet address. Make sure that the site's all legit, of course. Got to do all that. Jimbo says raining and overcast. I see. Yeah, that's not great for the beach then. I like the rain, but a lot of people wouldn't like that, but sure. But if you're going out to sit out in the sun, then it's obviously not going to be cool. Again says, Craig, what do you mean by remember your address? And again, if I clicked on an address box for search for my address, it shows like a drop down. Previously searched addresses on Pulse Lead. Right. Yes, please. A list order toggle would be awesome. And says Robert, and Games, didn't realize the autocomplete was a used feature. I'll add it back. And just asking, it's not a big deal, just a question, not complaining. Well, thank you for what you do. Yeah, appreciate it. Rothschild's in house. So much happening in XPLS and PLX. So little time. I know. It's a the time for developments, what can probably look like probably 9 months by the time we finish. That is actually faster than Hex. Hex was about a year if you were there at the time. So this is not uncommon. So if you're thinking, oh wow, I thought it would be launching already, well, it was about a year before Hex launched. Lots of gamification happened, a lot of coding, the AA lobby, and then once we had that after a year, then the AA lobby had to run for 350 days. So it's quite a long period of time, but that upside looks pretty exciting. Hex is the way, says lots of New Zealanders into Hex, according to Alexa Stats. Happy New Year. Yeah, apparently so. Hex is the way. We've had quite a few Kiwis in the chat here just on this live stream, and I'm sure they're all over the other ones like Discord, Syndicate. There's so many YouTubers now. I don't know if you remember, I did a video back, I can't remember, like 2 months ago now, and it was on the top 10 YouTubers in the Hex Pulsechain space. So that was pretty interesting. I should probably do another update. There's so many more though now. There's chartists, there's people that specialize in chartists. I can think of like 6 to 8 charting channels now. I can think of obviously on Discord Syndicate, they have a whole ton of shows on there. Something for everybody, and of course there's lots of entertainment channels. There's lots of super hype channels. There's a couple of those in the house. There's a lot of general information channels. There's obviously Crypto Heartbeat does probably the preeminent now interview channel, interviewing personalities, both the OGs and new people. So it's just growing and growing and growing. It's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Very, very cool. Alex says, Kay says, you did an amazing job with the website. So useful, much appreciated. I wish Polygon sacrifices would show up too. No pressure. Yeah. Suddenly getting the Gamesy like, yeah, they're getting a list now, getting a list. But hey, ideas are good, and I'm sure Gamesy appreciates that too. So it's getting feedback from the users, I guess. Brownie says we sent it to from FNQ Jimbo. And then Sandy Beach says, hey everybody, happy new year. Hey Sandy Beach, and Sandy Beach also became a moderator yesterday. That was the first day I opened it up. Pretty much had Alex in the house, so Alex has got some assistance there as well. So big shout out for sure. All right, yeah, I got tricked out. Got tricked out a little bit towards the end of one live stream, so I had to set up some moderators to help manage that sort of stuff. And Craig Wadding says, Wrench Gang, nice. All right, let's do a refresh. Here we are. Let's refresh this. Woohoo! This is on pulseleads.com. Of course, the game's the developers in the chat at the moment, so privileged to have there. 191 point, almost 191.3 million, and we're heading towards 200 million. And I suspect that we'll probably get that towards the end of my day. But that's pretty neat. And we've got a top sacrifice of 15.7 million. And let's see if we got, yesterday we had 18 millionaires. At the moment, we've got 22. Very, very cool. And these are the top ones here, 131 million Hex. And of course, you can toggle that. See how it's got the dollar amount? You can actually toggle that. 415 million Hex. Oh my gosh, that's so good. That's off the market, folks, and that means it's also off Pulsechain as well. So it's creating that scarcity and circulating supply. And of course, we had so much Hex come out over the last wee while with the stakes that eating this stuff up is really, really cool. So tomorrow we've got our last big day. It's got like 500 million Hex, and so far we've sacrificed so far in the last just over 2 days, we've sacrificed almost 80%, about 80% of that. So this really has making a big impact. I'd definitely like to see it get into the billions. That'd be really cool. Imagine that, getting billions off. And of course, Pulsechain was fantastic. Imagine getting it off here as well. So really, really nice on there. Hey, wonderful, really, really cool data, Gamesy. Do appreciate this. And you can just toggle over, just put your mouse over, and you can see that. It really, really is cool. So nice on there. Very, very, very cool. And yeah, we went through the numbers. Actually, let's do it one more time. We're going to go through the top 100. So to be in the top 100 at the moment, you can scroll down to the bottom. 227,000 to be in the top 100 on the ETH chain stuff. So really, really nice. And if we go to the top 500, I'm not going to do all this time. We definitely increased by about 4,200 wallets since yesterday, which was really cool. And so let's go all the way down. We're up, somewhere between 18 and 19,000 wallets so far. So really, really nice on that. So getting the top 500, 50,000, you pretty much have to sacrifice getting the top 500. It's not chump change, is it? It's not chump change. And then the top 1,000, you need to be in 25,000. So it's pretty easy. Top 500, 50,000. Top 1,000, 25,000. Pretty easy to remember as well. So cool. Let's go to top 5,000. I think we should be able to handle that. Nice. And $3,600 to get in the top 5,000. But like I say, if you sacrifice even just $50, $100, you could do pretty well. Very well indeed. So just note that, even though we're looking at these bigger amounts, if you're out there and you're just doing smaller amounts, you could do perfectly very well if PulseX does 100x, 200x, 300x, whatever the X's are going to be. We don't know the future exactly. We're optimistic about stuff like that, but once again, not investment advice. That $100 can turn into a lot. Pretty cool. Not everyone sells at the same time, of course, and the circulating supply is the key to getting it down. Of course, the deflationary mechanisms, tokenisms, is a game changer with that as well. So we could get potentially hundreds of millions of dollars of buy pressure just through the deflationary buy and burn mechanism, and that's huge pumpermental, massive. You'll be happy if you're on a small token and you were getting probably $500,000 in buy pressure, but imagine getting hundreds of millions. Really is a big deal. And of course, this is going to be ginormous. The AMM bot's going to harvest all those tokens on Uniswap, SushiSwap, and stuff. And of course, that's going to be pretty epic. And that's why I think we've got a slightly more delayed as well. If you think about it, you've got to have the AMM bot. It's going to be tested in, we think, in Richard's indicated that it's going to be in Pulsechain Testnet 3.0, and of course we've got that. I've got currently that's sitting in the timeline here, and I've got it sitting over here at the moment. But this is just an estimate mode, just a placeholder when we should see Pulsechain Testnet 3.0, and of course we want to see PulseX coding. It does have a lot of the stuff is in there, but they may have to do some tweaks to that to add in all the gamification features. But of course we're waiting for this AMM bot run as well, and Pulsechain Testnet 3.0. So we're waiting for that. So that's cool. We don't know how long Pulsechain Testnet 2 is going to run. It's very important that it does run very well. We need that validated code top notch for the next step into Pulsechain Testnet 3.0. So I've just got it running at the moment until about mid-January, and so we'll look out for that for sure to see what happens with that. So nice. I think my computer just quieted down. So cool. All right, so we're going to get out of that, and let's have a quick look. I think we've covered everything, have we? That was the snapshot I took, and that's how to do it. Here's the Pulse leads, and I'm going to close Pulse leads now, just to reduce the amount of impact. And we're going to get into some of the comments there. Sandy Beach says, thank you. Hey, Sandy, most welcome. Great to have you in the chat as always. And Alex K says, yes, more the merrier, says Alex. Yeah. And Craig Williams says, Sandy is in Sandy Gang and Wrench a gang now. Oh, nice one there, Craig. I like that. Refine says, woohoo. Yeah, absolutely. And yep is awesome, says Sandy. And what else we got going there? Gamesy says, due to the framework I'm using for the page, I'm not able to add autocomplete very easily. The reverse list button should be on the page already, by the way. If you don't see it, then force reload it, Control Shift R. Okay, cool. Let me have a look. So look. Welcome everybody. We haven't got around to Hex price yet. We haven't even got to Hex price, but that's cool. 191.4 million sacrificed. Nice. And hey, there's the reverse leaderboard there. Cool. I like that. So this is the new button. Yeah, there we are. Bam. Woohoo. Wow. I like it. Hey, hats off to Gamesy. Hats off. That was all during the live stream in like the last, what was it, 10 minutes? That's pretty cool. Hats off to you, man. Hey, if you want to go to donate to Gamesy, the donate button's up there, folks. PulseXlead.com. All the links in the video description. Very, very cool. Big shout out. That just got added nice. Total wallets, 18,639, folks. Really, really cool feature. Big shout out. And that is so cool. All right. It's chuffed. I'm chuffed about that. That's nice. All right. So there we are, folks. Let's jump over to the Hex price quickly. And of course, you can see the price here. We're sitting at 28.2 cents, I should say. We've had a high of the day so far, 29.3. And yeah, we had that really, the low was 24.7. This is on USDC version 3 pool and Uniswap. And yeah, we're looking to, let's see where we go from here. We have a lot of supply come out today. We haven't seen that been selling down yet, but that doesn't mean that might not happen over the next 24 hours. We've got another 500 million tomorrow, and then we're open. Then we don't have so much adding to supply, and then we've got some days of reprieve. That's why potentially we may see we've got a long sacrifice till date to the 9th of January, and so we do have some time this time. Unlike Pulsechain testnet, we do have some time for the price to do another rise, depending on what all these stakes or unstakes have come into circulating supply do. They have 4 options. Remember, they can hold for Pulsechain, their copy on Pulsechain, and they can obviously sell. They can stake short, medium, long term, and many of them will no doubt do those. And of course, number 4, they can sacrifice. And of course, that is a win-win. Sacrificing X is a win-win because not only do they sacrifice, but they help. There's less Hex overall. So, you know, kind of that's the general rule. It doesn't stop big Hex OGs that can sell down, but once they sell down, they get out of the ecosystem. New people come in, and it spreads out like a tree. You just got to. That's where we get these big price cycles as well. But very, very cool. All right, so that's looking not too bad. 28.2 cents, not too bad. And let's see if we can get better over 30 cents within the next wee while. That'd be pretty positive. And hopefully, if a lot of those people's behavior is not to sell, then we should be able to move up from here, given the demand for the sacrifice is looking so good as well. So let's have a look there. We're going to jump over to Richard Hart quickly, and we'll check out some of Richard Hart's latest tweets as well. So Monero is doing best out of the UTXO based chain sacrifice. So these are the ones where you could potentially sacrifice from an exchange with a memo, stuff like that. But generally speaking, you don't sacrifice from exchange. If you're going to Ethereum, you're just going to do from your MetaMask wallet or your Trust wallet or something like that. You don't do it from exchange, otherwise you're going to lose your funds. You won't get credited for them. PulseX so far, so nice. That was yesterday. Obviously, Rich did a live stream yesterday. That was really cool. I did end up watching that. A good thing it had timestamps by the time I watched it, so I just jumped through the stuff I was wanting to look at. And nice. And of course, the leadership board there, PulseX leads. That's what we've been looking at now. And we've got Gainsey, the developer, in the chat there. We're so very privileged to have the developer there. And awesome that Richard shouted that out to 21 hours ago. Nice recognition there too. So definitely get out there if you want to do donation. Do get into that, folks. It could be small or whatever you want to do. It just really does help that appreciation for the work done. Abit says this is the 5 for 5 tour in Florida, Miami, Florida. Man, these guys are killing out there. It looks so much fun, and these guys got so much energy. It really is great. Party stops entirely to watch Richard Hart on live stream. I wouldn't have it any other way. So here's the party here. Not sure if this is going to pop up because I don't actually have an account. No, that's not going to pop up. So I haven't got a Twitter account because I kind of, yeah, I got some, don't really like what they do on that platform. But hey, Richard Hart says, so they were actually, I'm talking about Polygon. So Polygon was actually hacked. It was actually hacked. And so this is unfortunate for them. I think they got off pretty lightly though, with the potential risk that they could have had. And yeah, so they have fixed it up apparently. So good. Nice. So we've got a couple of updates there. I'm just going through here. Yeah, just ignore scammers. Remember, ignore any scammers. Always go to the official sites. Bitcoin is getting killed by Monero in the sacrifice rankings here and totally slaughtered by Ethereum. So it's interesting. And this is 18 hours ago. Won't it be funny when NFT buyers demand you transfer the Pulsechain version and Ethereum version after the sale? That's hilarious. That's pretty funny. 18 hours. Yeah, that is funny. All right. So congrats, Bitcoin. PLX.com is bringing BTC adoption. 2 million in wrapped Bitcoin so far. You can use BTC natively at pulsex.info, which is the sacrifice step. So just follow those steps. There's only 3 steps in it. Now, I've also got a video in the link of Hodl Dog, pretty much the biggest YouTuber in the space. And he does a how-to video on how to sacrifice from MetaMask and also with Treasure as well. And also he does a video on how to sacrifice from the Staker app. And if you haven't got the Staker app, the link is in the video description. And well over 100,000 people use that now, myself included. I love it. It's pretty cool. I can't wait for version 2. Version 2 is coming out, and I can't wait for that. It's going to be super duper with Pulsechain as well. It's going to be fantastic. It really is cool. All right, so nice. And of course, there's Richard having a look at the Bitcoin through the Electrum wallet. It's got the details in there. And then that was it for the day so far. There probably is some little updates on the tweets and replies, but we won't go through that. Those are the main ones that we've had so far. So very cool. Actually, I might refresh just to make sure he hasn't done something, sneakily. Every time I do refresh, there's often another tweet there, so I might just update that too. No, that's it. So that's pretty cool. All right, so let us jump over to the timeline. Timeline, we're just ticking over our own Pulsechain testnet 2 is running, the PulseX Sacrifice is running, and everything's going live. The Hex scale is alive. The private side of it, the accredited investors, you have to have 1 million or more. That has kicked off a couple of days ago. And of course, that takes time to ramp up. So just take that into account as it is holiday period. So I would expect that to start having a bigger role, possibly from maybe mid-January, something like that. So we'll look for that. Remember, they're only going to be buying, staking 5555. You trade in and out of it via shares. So something like that we understand that's the way they're going to set it up. And so, yeah, we'll look forward to that having a bigger impact in the near term. So looking cool. Now, they definitely want to pick up their Hex while they can, while the market price is still down at this level, because if it does have a big breakout on the upside, especially after these stakes come out, then after the 2nd of January, then they definitely wanted to pick that up before a run goes on. Just benefits them hugely for their investor returns. All right, nice. All right, let's jump back to PulseLink and let's see how we're doing for 58 minutes. Not too bad. So we're going to refresh that. Sandy Beach says, awesome site. It is awesome. And Craig Williams says, no worries. Can always just add my address when I search. Thanks for looking at it, says Craig. And I recommend bookmarking the transaction page for the address since that shows the ranking as well. Nice. Serge says, first day and 10 first day and 10 day of sacrifice will give us estimate how much in total people will sacrifice in total supply PulseX. Yeah, but we also saw in Pulsechain people get late to the party, and of course we had the mercies period on Pulsechain, and of course if we go back into that, we had Pulsechain all the way back on the 15th of July to the 3rd of August, and then we had this big mercy period and dotted line all the way to the present. And of course, that just ramps up 1.05. Richard's trying to avoid that now, of course, and unfortunately, the timing may definitely play out with the launch of Pulsechain. Currently, the earliest expected time is early February. Early March, I should say, and so it's the earliest time at the moment we're expecting that. So I'm just going to pull that up here. Yeah, so nice. Now, these stars, of course, are the conferences run by Matty Allen. Got the Hexpo online conference in the 3rd to 6th of January. And of course, in March, expected, I think it's March, yeah, the 6th to 9th as well, is the Hexpo conference in Las Vegas. That looks like it's going to be pretty big. I think they've got a pretty big venue. Apparently, that's coupled, well, it's overlapping slightly with the Tony Vay's conference, which is on a small venue. Whereas Matty Allen's and the Hex conference going to be in a big venue. Hey, that's how we roll, a big and bad. So nice, I like that. Very, very cool. And potentially expecting a DS conference as well, but not targeting the general crypto market, but the traditional market, and onboarding some big money people from there. So that's looking, I'm not sure when that's going to be. I've just got it out here in April, but we'll find out what details when that actually is, and stuff like that, probably from Kinetics. So very big shout out there. But nice, looking good, folks. And the snapshot of block, of course, is most likely somewhere between the end of the sacrifice and the actual launch of Pulsechain. So if you're in that snapshot, that's kind of when we expect to see. Those are the tokens that you'll get the free airdrop. The biggest airdrop in history from is when that blocks. You got to have your crypto sitting in your wallet or on Ethereum at that time to get credited for that snapshot. That's the big day. So that's going to be a big FOMO day. It definitely is. So PulseX is a big FOMO. Snapshot is going to be a big FOMO. Going live with mainnet and PulseX is going to be a big FOMO day. And yeah, it's going to be pretty badass. So cool. But we've still got to say that we've still got operational risk in the house. We've still got to go through the test nets, make sure the code's all running super duper well. So don't forget that. But most of the code is just Ethereum, and of course it's a system state fork. But they are adding, the validated code on top for proof of stake rather than proof of work or hybrid. And they also got to add in the AMM bot, test all that sort of stuff as well. But the Uniswap front ends are done, and it's been working. We've done that on this live stream. The bridge apparently is working. I don't think Richard probably had a good chance to test that by now. I would have thought maybe not. But that's run by Ruth. And if you haven't seen, if you want to see Ruth and the bridge stuff, go check Matty Allen's show. Did an interview with Ruth, the lead dev on the bridge. And of course, we're probably expecting that a couple of days into after the mainnet goes live. So that's going to be cool too. That will allow all the ETH and ERC20s to come over, pair up as well. So it's going to be interesting to see that timing, but it's pretty close. But within a couple of days is our current understanding. So nice. All right, so that's pretty much it. And of course, Go.Hex is probably the easiest stuff there. It's pretty much being able to interact with Hex on Pulsechain and do your staking and stuff like that. So that's pretty much done. That's kind of probably pretty easy as well. So the big thing really is the PulseX and the AMM bot running, the big things. And then of course, probably a final distribution file for everyone at Sacrifice and Pulsechain. And then of course, we're going to need one also for the PulseX. So lots to be done. Lots will be done, but lots of it is progressed very well, pretty much. So we'll get there. We'll get there. Nice. All right. So Craig says, good idea. Done. Thanks, Gamesy. And Sergio says 1 trillion PLX in supply, 150x around the corner, says Serge. And nice one. I like that, Serge. And Rotho says, beautiful. And Crypto Mojo says, will you talk about the bonding curve and how that is calculated? So here is the bonding curve. We'll actually jump back to, I think it's down here. Here is the bonding curve here. We're going to talk about that. So basically, the first 11 days or so, it's just around 11 days, you get the best rate of 10,000 points per $1. So if you sacrifice now, and of course now we're in this period, then you can sacrifice, then get 10,000 points or 10,000 PulseX tokens per $1, and that is the best rate. After that, it goes up by 5%. Eventually, it's going to cost you $9.90 by the time we get to the end. That's like day 58, and of course, that's going to cost you $9.90 to get this 10,000 points. So it's obviously basically 10 times cheaper to get it now. So that's why you'd sacrifice now. Otherwise, you're just going to be paying way more. On top of this is the base bonus, what I call the base bonus, 10,000 points per $1. On top of that is a volume multiplier. So that's based on how much USD you actually sacrifice. If you do was it $10,000, I think, times 10,000 points is 100 million PLX tokens. Obviously, on top of that is if you do $10,000, you might get a multiplier. If it's similar to Pulsechain, you might get one like 1.1 multiplier. So that'd be 100 million times 1.1 would give you 110 million PLX tokens. That's kind of how that works. So you get the base amount, 10,000 points for $1, and then if you get ranked by the amount of US dollars that was against compared to everybody else, including the big whales, and then you get ranked between 1 and 2.5 multiplier. That multiplier is used to multiply times the base amount that you did. For example, $10,000, if you'd get your 100 million PLX tokens times, say, if you 10,000 is around about a 1.1 multiplier. If it's similar to the Pulsechain, that would give you 100 million times 1.1 is 110 million. 110 million PLX tokens. So hopefully that helps there. And then on the 21st to 25th, it's going to the volume multiplier will end on the 20th of February. So it's running for all that period of time. And then the last 5 days, which is, basically it's going to run for like 53 days. The last 5 days, the volume multiplier in the last 5 days is going to be a flat rate of 1.75, and that's probably most likely but you'll be paying $9.90 to get your sacrifice, so it's not great. You want to get it early. That's basically that simple. It is better. Somewhere in this before the 10th is probably pretty much the best way to go there. And then on the 25th, that we'll probably see either on the 11th or in this last period here, 21st to 25th of February, we'll probably see the Origin account going, and maybe sacrifice to get somewhere maybe around 85% of the supply, somewhere like that. It's kind of the way that we're going to work. Hopefully that helps. Cool. And Games says, I'm going to head out. Have a good night, day, night. Hey, Gamesy, appreciate it. Enjoy yourself, and Happy New Year to you again. Enjoy it. 1st of January. Very cool. And Craig Wadding says, bye, Gamesy. Thanks for what you do. And Sandy Beach says, thank you too. And Legend says, Roscoe. And Jappa Daddy says, thanks for sacrifice chain linked to PulseX. Do you guys think it would be a good move? It's as good as any. You're going to sacrifice it early is good. I think it's as good as any move, really. Obviously, people talk about Hex because obviously it gets off the market as well. Java says, I've got 6 people, friends and family into Staker to buy Hex. Hey, nice one, Java. Hats off to you. That's a marvelous. So that's exactly, the community is the best promoter of the investments, and of course we call these the gold standard investments in crypto. It really is amazing. Jovi says, over the holidays, well done. And Roscoe says, awesome. And Brownie says, just on board a Kiwi to the PulseX sacrifice while on the beach. Woohoo! Hey Brownie, you're a star, man. Hey Kiwi, how funny is that? Nice, I like that. And Island Land says, nice one. And Crypto Mojo says, thanks. That's the best I've heard it explained, says Crypto Mojo. Appreciate that. Thanks, Crypto. And thank you so much. No, you're most welcome. So that is the way it runs. Really is 2 components, a base amount and the volume multiplier on top of it. So, that's pretty much how it works. And that's what I've got explained here. So we've got the top line is the base amount and the bottom line is the volume bonus. Those 2 things together is the way it works. So very, very cool. It's the time frame there. Nice. All right, so very, very cool. Marcus says, yeah, awesome. I onboarded 5 people onto PulseX Sacrifice. Hey, you guys are killing out there. Brownie, Marcos, that's how it works. I mean, that's how we get virality and exponential growth, is by doing that. So really hats off to you guys. Once people also get used to it, it's going to be pretty nice. Sedge says 700 million USD in sacrifice, 1 trillion in supply, 10 cent at 1 million, a billion market cap. 50 billion market cap is 0.5. Nice. Thanks for that, Sergio. Very, very cool. So yeah, I definitely think that that's probably in play there, Sergio. I think there's pretty good numbers. So nice. Okay, let's jump back here. How are we doing? An hour and 7 minutes. You know how I like to roll. I pretty much go up to about an hour and 20 minutes. I did do a 2-hour live stream the other day, but we'll probably keep it up to about that time. So we'll probably keep going for about another 12 minutes. So welcome everybody. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, like, share, hit the bell. And yes, it'll be a lot of fun. Hopefully I'm filling in a gap between other YouTubers as well, live streaming or not. Sometimes actually Richard comes on at this time, so you never know what's happened there. All right, let's go up to the top here. Let's get a refresh on the results. We're hitting up to 200 million. That's going to be crazy cool. Would love to be live when we hit 200 million. That would be pretty neat. 191.7. We're getting there, folks. It is really starting to race up there. And this number's looking really good. So this is pulsex.com, the official information site. Has all the details. I've got all the links in the video description. If you're new to it, we've got 8 days and 19 minutes before the rate increases by 5% per day. And of course, at the moment, the best rate is 10,000 points per $1. And of course, depending on how much USDC you sacrifice, you'll also get a volume multiplier on that, which is somewhere between 1 and 2.5. depending on how much your USD ranks against everybody else. That's pretty much it, and that's chart there summarizes it all fairly well. So pretty cool. And of course, you got all the details on the site. The most liquid exchange in Pulsechain. Pulsechain X is Pulsechain's exchange. So Pulsechain is basically like the Ethereum blockchain, but faster and cheaper. It's going to be, and of course, it's going to have staking with it. And PulseX, which is what everyone's sacrificing for now, is like Uniswap or SushiSwap or PancakeSwap. It's like that, and but it's supercharged because it's got the best tokenomics, deflationary tokens. It's going to be working together with Pulsechain, with the biggest airdrop in history. It's going to have the biggest yield farming in history. It's got an AMM bot run that's going to harvest all these other best of everything else, pull it into this liquidity, set up the liquidity straight away, and of course that's going to value up the PulseX super duper well. Potentially billions of dollars is in play here. It's going to be a real game changer. So very, very exciting. Welcome. The gold standard products, man. The gold standard. Richard's building it out. He knows how to do that. He always focuses on circulating supply, trying to get that as small as possible and get the yields right. So it's pretty neat. All right, so there we are. PulseX, the best exchange, the world's largest yield farm. Of course, it's PulseX second incentive token. So it's going to have a secondary token there for the yield farmers, and that will probably be. We'll see how that plays, but a lot of yield farmers will be attracted to that. PulseX Gold, of course, is a Uniswap fork. And then, of course, PulseX is designed to increase in value, best asset class in history. So high yields, the most transparent trading in the world, efficiency, PLX only becomes more rare, and there's a very fundamental, as I said, Rich wants to get stuff rare, get scarcity built, get the scarcity built into it, get that circulating supply down. That is the real pivotal thing to getting value. And of course, Richard has a big enough community to make this work, to actually build off. And so that's very important too. I'd have noticed that Richard must be almost up to 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. Once you get over that 100K, we've often seen those YouTubers start to explode. The algorithm must reward that sort of milestone. I also think doesn't he get it one of those diamond, YouTube diamond things as well? So he may get one of those. PulseX is awesome. That's probably the best way of summing it up. Trading fees are dirt cheap. A 21% burn and buyback, and you can imagine if you've got hundreds of millions of dollars going through, it's going to be massive, right? So really is a big deal. PulseX will have the most liquidity on Pulsechain, and that's a big pivotal thing too. It makes it the best place to operate in, and of course the AMM ratio fixed box it harvests over around about 99.9% of many coins on Uniswap, SushiSwap, and other popular markets. And this is part of the key to the success. It really is massive, and it recreates those pairs on PulseX, and as a liquidity, it is harvested along with fresh PLS tokens for Pulsechain to make PulseX vastly the most liquid exchange on Pulsechain. So it's going to be big, huge, folks. Really is exciting. It's good to have all liquidity in a single marketplace. In summary, PulseX has lower fees, the most liquidity on the Pulsechain, and only becomes more rare. So there we are, folks. That is it. And that's on pulsex.com. We're going to jump over to the sacrifices, pulsex.info. If you want to sacrifice, this is where you do it. Obviously not investment advice. You must do your own due diligence. Everything on here is infotainment, but this is how you do it. Step 1, 2, and 3. Follow the instructions. You'll be perfectly well off there as well. So just follow those instructions. The link's in the video description. Let's check out Pulse Leads. We're going to refresh this, and we're going to see where we're at the moment. 191, almost $192 million. Very, very cool. And this obviously doesn't include some of the other chains, the UXTO ones that we have as well. So just take that into account. And our current leader at the moment, 15.7 million. Are we going to get some more over 10 million? I think we've got a reasonable chance of that. We've got a long way to go, folks, a long way to go. This is basically the whole length of this is like 58 days. And we can see that running all the way from here, pretty much the 29th, 30th of December, right through to the 25th of February. It's a long day to go. So the first 11 days or so is 10,000 points per $1, and then it increases by 5% per day for the next 47 days, all the way to the end. And of course, the volume multiplier only applies up until the 20th. So if you sacrifice during then, your US dollar will rank compared to everybody else, get a multiplier of between 1 and 2.5. And of course, after that, the 1.75 flat rate comes in for those last 5 days. That's how it works. So that's what's happening there. Very cool. And this has got so much cool stuff on it now. You can even toggle over, get the actual hex value 415 million hexes sacrificed. I'm loving this. This is really dream. I think I talked to you guys about, I'd love it if they got 500 million, and of course if they can get a billion or more in the sacrifice, that's gonna be beautiful. Really is great to get that circulating supply off the market. And ideally, man, imagine if we got 2 or 3 billion, that would be super duper good. We'll see how we get on. I don't want to get, count all my chickens at once, but we've got doing start off super well on that as well. So nice, 88,400 ETH, and looking really, really good around the place. Ratbik, 43 Rat Bitcoin, looking good. And what else? Just Shiba, what's that? 14, almost 15, almost 15 billion Shiba in there as well. So nice. So doing some really good numbers there, really is great. All right, so, and what's our total? Our total is sacrifices 18,700, I think. So really nice. I'm going to refresh this. 18,700 is pretty epic. I've been looking at so many addresses on the site. You can just actually pop the address in the site there and just check out what they're sacrificing. It really is cool. Yeah, 18,700, looking really good, folks. And of course, we can see the sacrifice. This is the totals. We're tracking pretty well against Pulsechain, and we actually surpassed on the second day. So that's really nice as well. Games is going to add this a chart like this to the Pulse Lead site, so I won't have to actually track it manually. That would be pretty useful. And then obviously with the price of Hex holding up pretty good at 28.2 cents, we'll definitely watch that over the next 24 to 36 hours, given the fact that we had our last 2 big stake candles. 800 million came out at the close of day 760. Now we don't know what they're going to do with all that. So far it hasn't impacted the market. And then of course we've got that last big candle, 500 million, coming out at the close of today, 761, which will be tomorrow, and you'll see my update video on that. So we'll definitely look at that. Like I say, they have 4 options. They can hold for Pulsechain copy, and they can stake short, medium, or long. Because the T-shares only going up, the T-share rate's going up, they're getting less T-shares. So if they understand the power of Hex, then they definitely want to get that. Or 3, they can actually sacrifice and PulseX sacrifice. Or 4, they can choose to sell some down. And of course, we need the market buying to offset that. If they not, we don't see a lot of selling. We do sell a lot of that stuff just holding. And one of those other strategies, then we could see people buying Hex to sacrifice actually outdoing the sellers. So we'll watch that for carefully. Obviously, there is a big amount of supplies. We have to be realistic about that. We saw that yesterday with one of the Hex OGs had 100 million stake come out. They only stayed down a little bit, but it was at a pivotal point in the chart. We were at 31 cents. So we watched that structure as well. All right, so at the moment, and of course, Rich has been tweeting really nicely, so we do appreciate that. Constant communication from Richard really is great. And of course, the timeline is moving along. We're in 2022, and it looks fantastic. So demand looks like it's really going to outstrip supply over this time frame. It's going to be really, really awesome. I'm expecting somewhere $5 to $10, $15 somewhere in the year. Definitely, it looks very exciting. Given all the fundamentals that we've talked about. So very, very cool. Okay, I'm going to wrap up here just about in just a couple of minutes. I'm going to get into some of the final comments. We've got Craig Wadding says, per PulseX side, 18,671 Sac wallets, and that's only showing ETH wallets. Also, over 25,000 PulseX Telegram members. Word still getting out there. Yeah, wasn't the PulseX Telegram like 7,500 just a little while ago, a couple of days ago or something? That sounds like it's really exploding out. So awesome. Yeah, and I think it's in excess of 60,000 on Telegram for Pulsechain, which is bigger than Cardano, which has been around forever and is ranked number 6 on the leaderboard on CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap. So it really is exciting. Their search says, I think Richard Hart will not go with Hex Sacrifice this time, and PLX will go much faster. Could be 500x. Yeah. I think they're all going to do well, but you're right. You're trying to play the leaders, but like I said, I think the yield farming is a faster mover, but I think Pulse is going to have a lot of funds going to Pulse. I think a lot of whales going to be accumulating Pulse. Is my sort of, this is my thesis, as it were. So cool. Jay Donna says, can you tell me how will PLX will pump? I mean, the price of everyone that want to buy it's already sacrificed. So it's once the PulseX sacrifice finishes, that's the total amount of supply on the market. After that, it just goes down from there once Pulsechain launches, once PulseX launches, because basically 21% of the trading fee and PulseX is just going to end up buying PulseX and burning it, sending it to a dead address, so it disappears. And of course, there's going to be so much volume through that through that DEX that it's just going to burn it at a fast rate, and it could be in the hundreds of millions of dollars of buying burning power there. So hopefully that helps there, Jay. Sergio says Uni reached $43 and max market capital of 25 billion, and that is about 0.025 of Pulse for PulseX with 1 trillion supply at 650x profit. Yeah, good one there, Serge. That's true. Yeah, Serge, PLX will outperform PLS in the upside potential in the short term. Yeah, I think I am holding on to that thesis too there, Serge. And the Solid says 192 million. Yeah, let's refresh this, folks. We're about to wrap up because it's almost 1 hour and 20 minutes, 1 hour 19 and 32. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, like, share. We're going to be covering PulseX details full on all the way. It's going to be a lot of fun. Plus, also the daily vids I do on Hex gives you the full updates. It's just a great way of catching up with everything without having to watch everything. I do it all for you, and it's pretty much easy. So 192 million. That's the great way to finish. We're heading towards 200 million. It's going to be awesome. Let me just quickly check on the top one here. We've got 415,853,000 Hex sacrificed. Beautiful, and everything else is looking super duper good as well. We've got this new chart, of course, shows you that Hex is definitely dominating, followed by ETH, USDC, USD Tether, Wrap Bitcoin, and DAI is number 5. So the stable coins are certainly popular. Remember, it is all about how much of the USDC you sacrifice. That's the main goal. And of course, people get Hex because they're trying to push the price up. People who sacrificed at 35 cents on the first day are pretty happy at this stage. But you never know. We may get another price rise. We've got plenty of time for that happen before the 9th of January. So we'll see. And of course, we'll see what happens with all the big volume that's come out today and tomorrow. And then after that, there's far less of it to be around. So we're going to see what people do, and we're going to find out how that plays out. But very exciting. Hope you enjoyed this one. I'm going to just sign out here. Thanks for watching. Right, so I may or may not do another live stream today. We'll see how we get on later today. If that 200 million milestone comes up, I might not be able to help myself. So we'll see how we get on. But until then, folks, take care out there. Enjoy yourself. Happy New Year. It really is going to be great in 2022. And let's have fun with it. Let's have fun for sure. Alex Casey, it's a great show as always. I appreciate that. I'm just going to do some emojis here. Sign out because I like to do my emojis. A big shout out to the Hex Token channel members. I do appreciate your support. And of course, you got these emojis too. So I'm going to push that out. And special thanks to all the moderators as well. Craig Wadding, Alex K, and Sandy's in the house as well. So big shout out to all of you for doing the moderating. Do appreciate that. All right, take care out there. Bye for now. Enjoy yourself. All the links in the video description. Take care now. All right, bye.